Hey everybody, welcome back. Today what I'm going to be doing is I had my boy Montana, as you saw from the previous video of the R8 stickers, making up some of these racing sticker placards for racing at the SCCA, and they got to go on. And he copied the C7 C6R Corvette racing stuff to make it look super cool. So I figured I would show you how to put one on, get no bubbles whatsoever, putting on vinyl graphics. The nice thing about these, they always come off because won't hurt the paint at all. And just kind of an FYI, the reason I'm not using magnetic ones is because it's a fiberglass door. And as you know, magnets don't stick to fiberglass. So I had these made up to stick on here and kind of be permanent. So I gotta find, kind of first step is we're gonna be using the wet method to do this, and it's a little bit cold, so kind of FYI, once it drops below 50 or 60 degrees, which is recommended, you can still use it, but it tends to be a little bit brittle, so you can't stretch this stuff nearly as much as you can if it were warmer, so just FYI. And then also, there are two kinds of vinyl. There's vinyl like for graphics and things, and then there's kind of that wrap. And wrap is real flexible and bendy and stuff, and this vinyl stuff, not so much. So you got to be a little bit more careful with it. It doesn't have as much give, and you can't flex it nearly as much as you can with the wrap, and you can't use the heat to shrink it. So basically, what I've got to do, I'm gonna do the wet method for this version because I can move it, I can slide it around a bit, and I'll show you what that looks like. But first things first, I'm gonna this detailer is gonna substitute for my soapy water. But first, it's really dusty here in the shop, so I'm just gonna go ahead and wipe it down and make sure that it gets all the dust and all the junk kind of off this particular area that I'm going to be working on. Just get all the stuff off there so we get a nice clean install. And yep, it is quite dusty in here for the last couple months. Okay, so pretty happy with where I'm going to put it. And it's clean, and remember, this is ceramic coated, so this is already, as good as she's going to get. And to do the wet method, what we have to do is we have to use a fair amount of soapy water, and this is, detailer's works just as well. And we're just going to really soak it on there. And so when you use your squeegee, this is just a regular detailing wrap squeegee, same one as I put on with my Viper. And so instead of squeegeeing out bubbles through the wrap, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be squeegeeing out the water instead. So, and this allows me to move things around. You can do the dry method, that's fine, but you better be pretty darn sure where you're applying your sticker. So what I remember from the C7 C6R racing team is this actually follows the contour of the body line. And it's right kind of here where the line is right below the mirror, and it's not level because this is level, but it's actually at a slight angle, and it follows this contour body line. So I think that looks pretty good to where it would be. This is my CAM S number for the SCCA. So I'm going to get it very, very liberally wet. More is better in this case, and that's okay. Okay. So thanks to my buddy Montana for making these up. These are very slick, very nice, very well done graphics. I'm just going to get it pretty close. Okay. See how it's sliding around? I can still move it, see? So don't move it too much, because once I start squeegeeing it out, that's when everything's going to start sticking, okay? So we're going to like to start somewhere in the middle, and start squeezing out, and you can see this stuff starts coming out, okay? Start going down Try and keep lines of the body, because there are some complex shapes here. But nothing too bad. This is actually the nice part about this. This isn't too bad. Now, a word of warning, when you do put this on here, it's going to be wet for like a day and a half or so. And it's not going to be perfect. That's the issue. So sometimes it might take a day to dry, so you might have to go back and reapply it, go back and squeegee it again. Okay, so I finally got it back on. You can see the wet method works just as fine. I did get the heat gun out just a little bit because I had a bubble or two I wanted to get out and kind of just push out towards the sides and up and down. And even sometimes you can use a razor to make a small little indent and then push the air out if the bubble's really that big. So let me show you the dry method on the hood. Okay, so this is the dry method on the hood, and there's a contour here, and it's not too bad. Again, it's a little chilly in the garage today, and I've already gone and cleaned this up, got rid of all the dust with it, but I'm going to do it in the dry method. The dry method is much less forgiving in what you're trying to do, okay? So that's the trade-off, is it goes on once, and it usually goes on a little cleaner sometimes, but you can do it. So let me just show you how I usually do it. And what I like to do is I like to get it nice and close to where I'm at and work from one side down, okay? So I'm going to hold it up with my hand. I'm just going to go ahead and squeeze out all the air here. And so work from kind of the middle out. And I'm going to go down a little bit and then work out. And then down a little bit and out, really kind of squeezing that. This is flexible, okay? So use that flexibility to your advantage. Okay, you can kind of see it as it's going to go on pretty smooth. Both methods work just fine. However, the dry method here, we can peel this up right away and have no issues. So as long as I got it, go back one more time. Really, now that I like where it's at, push it down in there. And so far, I've been very happy. No bubbles, no nothing. I'm just going to go ahead and peel it up. First part's always the worst. All right, so when you peel back, don't peel up, right? This is up. Peel straight back, as sharp as an angle as you can, so that the sticker wants to stick to the car and not to your paper. Okay, and it's okay to get a little bit of peel. You got to go back and redo the seam a little bit, or have a little tiny, apprentice mark. That's totally fine. All right, so there we go. Now I'm going to go back. See a small little air bubble there, gotten taken care of. And I like to go back along all the edges just to push down nice and firm one last time. So to make sure that it's stuck there for good. Here we go, let's talk about a little pros and cons. Pros and cons of doing the wet method. Wet method is, it goes on a little bit easier, it's more forgiving, you can slide it around up and down. But it is harder to peel the backing off. So a tip or suggestion that I learned that, hey, learn from, Miss Numero Idiot number 1, this guy, is to peel the whole sticker off both sides and then apply it. You might get a little bit better results, but it takes a while to dry. So even the sticker itself needs time. The liquid is still in there. There's a little bit, little bits of it, and it needs to dry. The downside to it is that it takes time, but you got some positives where you can slide it around. The dry version that you saw here goes on and is permanent and just sticks there. So the positive is there's no drying time and it goes on very quickly and very easily, and you know exactly where your trouble spots are. I got a little tiny bubble right there, but it's just there. That's the kind of downside to it. So a lot of guys like doing the wet method for applying, especially big vinyl stickers. But otherwise, you know, sometimes I like doing just dry just because it's quick and easy, and I know how to do little bubbles and get rid of all that stuff pretty easily. So your choice, but hopefully this was helpful, and catch you guys later.